Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where it was pointed out in the comments that the Pictling closed border doesn't help us very much now that we have gotten Ravgedi and Eludra. That's absolutely correct. Yes. So we should definitely drop off that so that we are not spending influence on this. We no longer need this, and we should certainly open our borders with the Pictlings. So we will do that, and that will be fine. We don't care if they open their borders to us or not. It's fine either way. So from here, we're looking at expanding up into this area. And that's the primary goal at this point. So we're going to get our first contract enforcement fleet back home. That'll take a little bit of time. And we're going to survey all of this area out over here. That'll also take a little bit of time.
A system has been surveyed.
I'm thinking about having this fleet research these anomalies instead. So we can start making our way through some of these. They're going to be pretty lengthy, but we should definitely start working on some of those. We've got a bunch of science ships up here working on surveying, and that's fine. The Corellian Confederation of Constituents is no longer a valid
Special
rival
project
for us.
actualized.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, the Cache Compose has successfully restored power to the automated shipyard over Wua 3A. The facility immediately resumed its interrupted construction order, using what materials it had on hand to build 3 advanced raiders of an unknown design. Unfortunately, the ancient facility broke down completely afterwards and has been deemed beyond repair. We've sent crews to the new ships and commissioned them into our fleet, so they are out over here, 370 in strength. Okay, and apparently selecting them closed the other pop-up, so I don't know what that was. Cool. So we're going to build a starbase over Wua at this point. We just need to fill out this area.
Detritus analyzed.
So that'll be fine. Cool. Debris analyzed. And new skills.
Special project
Excellent.
actualized.
Lead scientist Rigid Node has returned from the expedition that studied the rich biosphere in the seas beneath the ice mantle Polaris 4A. Almost said 7A, but that's definitely 4. Our underwater probes have mapped the terrain. Okay, there's the second mess up. Where's the third? And cataloged most of the life forms. Although this data may be of some use to our biologists, no particular discoveries have been made that would have any applications beyond that. Well, it only happened twice that time. Hopefully that will be the end of it.
A system has been surveyed.
Excellent. So we're getting a bunch of surveys done, right? And we're going to get a new chief executive officer soon enough. That's fine. No problems there at all. And we're just going to cruise our way through these last surveys. It's not going to take all that long. And we can start working on things like these archaeological sites, which would be absolutely great. These guys have rivaled us, which presumably means that we can rival them right on back. Yeah, indeed. So that's absolutely great. Now these guys, they're a potential problem for us. For sure. They have superior fleet power right now, and that's to be expected. But what I'm interested in potentially doing right now is simply improving relations with them. We'll send Quiet Caller to do that. Wait, that's Quiet Caller again? Okay. I guess we have Loud Caller and Quiet Caller again. Cool. I don't know why they went away, but that's fine. We're going to grab our mining stations in Wua. And we need to work our way through grabbing all of this territory, ultimately. And yeah, these Gaia worlds are going to be a problem for us until we can deal with the Calictorans. The text, its title roughly translates to regional ruler, is written in a presumably ancient dialect of the Thorquel tongue, spoken in the Thorquel Star League. The text is doubtlessly of some historical import to them, and might contain valuable insights. So we could gain 40 influence, or we could return it to them. We're probably going to get more influence from returning it, but it's a bit of a risk. We'll return it. We understand that you found the only surviving copy of The Prince, a text of significant historical and cultural importance to our people. We thought it irrevocably lost to a pirate raid years ago, but we're grateful to see that it found its way into civilized hands. Will you return it to us? We'll gladly transfer some energy credits for your trouble. Oh, okay. 5,000 energy credits. That's actually better for us than influence in terms of theming. Not in terms of actual gameplay, but sure. We'll take the cash. So the cash build, we would head up to Moa, of course, but we're not going to build there because of the Fallen Empire. We're going to head over to Tej instead. That's a ways away, and we're capped on energy credits right now. So what do we want to put these energy credits into? What indeed? I guess we can stock up on some consumer goods. That'll keep us afloat for a good long time. Cool. And that way we will not be capped on our energy credits. So that's great. We do need a job on this factory world, and we'll look into this in just a moment. This factory world, we definitely want to put an industrial district onto. That will help our consumer goods, of course. Somewhere between Wumgium B2's unctuous clouds, unnatural structures silhouette themselves against a toxic surface. Cool. So we will look into that.
Special project actualized.
The Void Clouds are, as far as Maloquian researchers can tell, among the oldest entities in the universe. They seem to have originated just a scant few billion years after matter as we know it first appeared, the tremendous force of the young cosmos making something out of nothing. They would have been stars once, but were not. Explaining their apparent animal intelligence is more difficult, but the answer might lie in the abnormally strong electromagnetic fields that keep them together, another product of their primordial beginnings. It is not inconceivable that, given enough time, the circulation of its strange stardust and gravitic fields aligned in a flexible approximation of neural pathways. Moreover, the clouds seem to be receiving impulses from one another, if not outright communicating, light years apart. Quantum entanglement is suspected to play a role in this phenomenon, so we can get 33% damage, or physics research plus 10% for, like, forever. We'll obviously take that. Cool. Okay, so that is absolutely great. We do want eventually to take out the Void Clouds, right? That's definitely a thing that we want. But for right now, we don't have the capacity to do that.
Outlier identified.
Our initial scans have caught an irregular signal reminiscent of our own distress patterns. We definitely want to look into that. And really, instead of coming over to Tej, I want to head into Tiamat instead. So we'll build there. I want to get this Savannah world going. The Cache Probe has made an incredible discovery in orbit of Ilix 4. The planet possesses a hitherto thought impossible number of superimposed quantum states per unit of space. Science Officer Rugged Tissue suggests Ilix 4, which she codenamed the Veil, exists simultaneously in two dimensions, our own and an unknown other. What is more, the number of quantum states in the particle field surrounding the planet is increasing at a constant rate. As of yet, there's no confirmed theory that could account for this phenomenon. Rugged Tissue posits that the psionic energy the transmission crackles out to static. What is going on out there? The Cache Probe crew apologizes for the abrupt termination of their initial report. During transmission, the Veil experienced a complete dimensional phase shift, its particle fields rotating out of one dimension and into another. The cloud of psionic energy has been lifted, revealing a glittering jewel of a Gaia world. Fascinatingly, the number of superimposed quantum states appears to have been reset as the planet shifted, and is now increasing at the same rate as when the planet was a shrouded world. Rugged Tissue has used the rate of increase of particle superimposition and the total number of quantum states at the time of transition to extrapolate a 3-month cycle for the planet's dimensional shifts. Perhaps we might develop a method to prevent the planet from shifting, but we should secure the system first. Cool. So we would definitely like to get that. Was that this one? Yeah, that was this one, in Ilix. Okay. The signal we intercepted was a distress call from a ship in orbit around Wumgium 2A. The ship is not giving off any heat signatures and seems to be drifting. A special project has been issued to investigate what happened to the crew. Intriguing.
Situation log
and that is, of course, over here. So we'll just grab... Does it matter which of these we grab? There's 3 in this system right now. We'll just grab the derelict ship here. Cool. As far as this goes, I do want to start heading out over here and researching all of these anomalies that we've bypassed. We do want to start going back and getting those soon enough. Reinforcements in transit. Okay, they'll get there soon enough. Wumgium is going to be done. In fact, it is done right now. So that's looking good. The first contract enforcement fleet has been repaired. Hyperdrive 2s. Cool. So we got back in time for that. That's fascinating. Do we grab improved deflectors here? They don't really help us in any meaningful way. I feel like capacity subsidies and the energy grid is the way to go here. And of course, we should hop into here and get our hyperdrive 2s set up. Cool. I feel like we already changed that over. And we're currently running missiles and mass drivers. That's okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So we'll save that, and we will get these upgrading. Cool. So that is all underway. The cache compose, of course, we want to head into Delcor, but we're lacking influence to build that for the moment. The crew of the ship has been found dead. What is more disturbing is that they appear to have been killed by some highly advanced brain parasites, which infested them and drove them mad. Thanks to Science Officer Images and Monochrome's findings, we were able to protect our own crew from being infected. Cool. Okay, our capital needs a job here. We don't have anything that we can build here, so for the moment, we're just going to have to wait for them to migrate. Dahlberg, of course, is going to have an open job here.
Research
and that'll
actualized.
Be Crystal mines, finishing up. Okay, synthetic crystal plants, civilian fabricators, both of these would be good. We're going to go with civilian fabricators here, because that will allow us to upgrade this and get additional jobs here, which would be nice. There are fragments of an unknown vessel in close orbit of Uthan. Okay, we're full on our minerals, and we'll sell off 10,000 of those.
A system has been surveyed.
Excellent. Our mining world here needs a job, and we're putting that in. There we go. The irradiated fragments of the Cache Examine crew registered in close orbit of Uthan are indeed the remains of a spacefaring vessel. With a very distinctive design, it matches no known make on record. We've extracted some data from the ship's damaged computers, recorded in an alien language like nothing we've ever seen before, and one we're unable to translate. By studying the remains, Science Officer Glittersheem postulates that the craft, known as the Kotalo, suffered a navigational error when exiting FTL, bringing it too close to the gamma-ray jets of Uthan. Large portions of the ship were stripped apart through radiolysis. There are no survivors. Unfortunate. Well, that gives us some society research, which will be nice. And we're doing okay-ish on our food and consumer goods. Those definitely are going to require additional work. And we're going to make for getting some of these Savannah worlds here. But we do need to do additional surveys out over this direction. I think this Savannah world is probably the next one that we target. Let's see, that's an arid world. These are Gaia and almost certainly are protected by the protectors up here. We've got an arid world here. We do definitely have a lack of worlds right now, so terraformation is going to become a high priority. We're at 96 influence,
Future
so we can grab
complete.
Delcor. And that's absolutely great. And all of this surveying will eventually be concluded. Indeed. I wish that these all weren't going to the same area. That would be nice. A massive ground war was fought on Maradetta 2 between the Ute and a second species that we know little of. This campaign took place in the final years of the Ute Empire, and though it occurred millions of years ago, wreckage of ruined war machines can still be found. Although the planet was an important Ute colony, their cities and outlying settlements were never rebuilt after the fighting ceased, which would seem to indicate that they ultimately lost the campaign.
Situation
okay, so we
log
have
revised.
a precursor here? Yeah, a precursor event. Research it. Cool. So that is underway. That is this up here, right? Yeah, that's these guys. Cool.
Upscaling complete.
Wumjium B2 is crisscrossed by overlapping mineral composite bands that are elevated above the harsh surface by tall, flexible pylons. Constantly agitated by atmospheric winds, these pylons sway, and the overlapping bands rub together to produce sonic waves that are, to Maloqui, inaudible frequencies. Science Officer Images in Monochrome reports some difficulty in isolating this audio from the natural background noise of the planet, but notes that the mineral bands could, should we so choose, be broken down and efficiently recycled by the Atreides Interstellar Construction Company. Do it. Okay, so we do need mining stations in Delcor. And Tiamat is going to be done building at Starbase soon. We definitely come out over this way next to Aranus. The superficial layer of surface ice on Tem 4 covers an abnormally large crystal deposit. We're also detecting the presence of a faint signal, and we'll definitely look into that. So it's
Station
nice that
under
we can
assault.
focus on all of this, right? For sure. Sensors report a ship with seemingly identical properties to the unique remains uncovered near Uthon has just dropped from hyperspace in the Takaram system. They're hailing us on screen. The crew of the strange ship that mirrors the wreck found near Uthon seem excited to speak with us, so our translators cannot decode their language. They identify themselves with a low-frequency verbal expression that sounds like Kotalo, a name we've heard before. Perhaps we can communicate using raw data. Try to ask what their purpose here is. We receive a flurry of data in response, including cartographic imaging of a neighboring galaxy and footage of what can only be engineers working on an alien FTL drive. We can draw no other conclusion than that these are explorers from another galaxy. Their ship's lack of weapons capacity would support this theory. We send back footage of builder explorers on their first journey beyond our solar system, and the reaction from the alien crew appears to be jubilant. We'll send them the data recovered from the Uthen wreck. The excitement of the Kotalo crew seems to evaporate. Multiple crew members begin to tap away at consoles using their tentacle-like appendages. They transmit what looks to be their passenger manifest, navigational data, and crew logs to us. Without a doubt, the data matches that of the Uthen wreck to the letter. With one exception, the Uthen wreck contained further entries, with later dates. It would appear that the Uthen wreck is the same ship as the one now before us, only older. This isn't possible. Despite their alien mannerisms, the Kotalo crew's consternation is evident. Our own scientific attachés inform us that if the Uthen wreck is indeed the future of the ship before us, any information we give them may have unforeseen consequences. So we could warn them and have them avoid disaster, or we can't risk further timeline interference. I wish there was an option here to warn them if we receive payment. Like, remit payment and we'll give you the information that we have as compensation for the risk to our timeline. That would be most in keeping with what we're going with here, and that's what we're going to pretend that this does. The extragalactic explorers begin poring hurriedly over the system data we send them, speaking to one another in their strange language, and entering a flurry of commands on their consoles. Our diplomats wait patiently for a reply, but before it can come, the ship's engines begin to power up unexpectedly. Before we can react, they've vanished. Good luck, Starfarers. Okay, so we sold that to them, right? We did. And we're going to say energy 500. It's an irrelevant amount of energy. We sold that to them for 500 energy credits. Cool. So that's fine. After setting up to drill into the ice layer on Tem 4, floats backwards experienced intense sensations. While not physically harmed, they reported being initially overwhelmed by disjointed visual and olfactory hallucinations depicting an unknown alien species. A special project has been prepared to investigate this strange crystal deposit further.
Situation log revised.
And we definitely should. We need a science ship in orbit and research that now. Cool.
Upscaling complete.
Okay, there's Tiamat being under our control. We definitely want to colonize here. And yes, I'm aware that it's only 60% habitability. Let's build our mining stations and then head into Airness. Over in Delcor, I would like to grab Bahiram.
Special project
Do we think that we have enough? I think that we don't have enough influence to do it. We're just going to move to Bahiram for now. After combing through several of the ancient battlefields on Maradetta 2, wow, words apparently are very difficult. Our archaeologists recovered what appears to be a Ute battle harness. Several large caliber cannons were still attached to it, and the archaeologists theorized that Ute soldiers, given the massive size of their bodies, fought as what can essentially be described as a large mobile fortress. Interesting indeed. So we get a Ute artifact there. That's great. And we also have this anomaly. Initial sensory readings from Soyuz 3A suggest it could support alien life, and we'll look into that. Now, we're going to head over here and research that anomaly. What level is this guy? Rugged Tissue has been going through these pretty quickly, considering they're only level 6. Cool. That level 10 didn't go as slowly as I thought it would. At first glance, Soyuz 3A seems to be inhabited by a diverse plethora of life forms. They coexisted in an ecosystem similar to our own, in which nutrients cycle the food chain through photosynthesis, decomposition, and predation. Upon closer inspection, however, the crew discovered that though all living things on Soyuz 3A may have started out as individuals, first they now, by mysterious design, operate as an as a single organism. First they now, by mysterious design. I feel like this comment doesn't go here, but it goes here. May have started out as individuals first. They now, by mysterious design, operate as a single organism. Yeah, I think that's a grammatical issue there. What does this even mean with this comma here? First, they may have started out as individuals. First, they now, by mysterious design, operate as a single organism. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so the comma surely goes here, meaning that they started as individuals, now they're a hive mind. Cool. So that adds dangerous wildlife. That's exciting.
Outlier identified.
Okay. At first glance, this moon does not seem capable of supporting living beings, but nevertheless, we've detected life signs emanating from somewhere beneath its frozen surface. Cool. And we're going to grab, what, Specialist Pop Resource Output? Or just Job Upkeep? Probably Job Upkeep. Now, I don't think that'll help our food, but that should help our consumer goods.
Upscaling complete.
Cool, so we're heading into Aranus, and we will definitely build a starbase there. That is our top priority right now. We didn't detect life forms below the surface. We detected them in the entire world. The frozen planet is interspersed with micro-thin tubes, linked like a rudimentary computer. While the structure is primitive, its gigantic scale means it can probably rival some of Entropy's Promise's supercomputers in output. Even now, the computer seems to be active. Our scientists can interface with it, but since it's so slow, we would only be able to ask it a single question. So we can get some physics research, we can get some society research and some artifacts. We can get a Ute artifact, some Unity, or we can get 4 engineering research, basically forever after we take that system. A Ute artifact might not be the worst thing here. Who came before us? Cool. So we got a Ute artifact out of that. That puts us at how many?
Market survey completed.
Situation log. The Ute. We have 3 of 6. Okay. So that's definitely looking good. The cache compose here is going to want to build this starbase, but we are lacking in the influence for that.
Identified.
A cursory scan of the planet's surface reveals a weak signal, pulsing into the darkness of space. Well, we will definitely research that. Are we... Okay, we're only 60% done with our colony ship. That's taking a bit to get that done. But we're almost done surveying out over here. Preliminary scans of 91F78 indicate that a heavily armed vessel is in orbit of the asteroid. It would be wise to proceed with caution. Indeed it would. We do need to upgrade this one ship here. The signal originates from the remains of an antenna-like structure. Exploratory probes were dispatched from the cache reconnoiter to the surface to investigate the matter more closely. What Science Officer Images in Monochrome found was a cavernous vault that, while easily pried open, was evidently the last safe house and refuge of some long-dead race of aliens. While reasonably technologically advanced, it seemed they never reached for the stars and perished to some planet-wide natural disaster. The vault is immense, housing thousands upon thousands of black boxes that the cache reconnoiter has determined to be data storage devices. A special project has been prepared
Situation
to
log
decode their
revised.
contents. Okay, cool. So we pretty much know what these guys are, but we'll get that done. Excellent. Now, we need a job on this factory world. We will definitely build an industrial district. This mining world, we need a job on as well, so we'll get that going. Cool. No problem whatsoever there. The armed vessel discovered in orbit of 91F78 is an abandoned military spacecraft called Nefri's Pride. Its light frame and evasion hardware suggests it was built for long-distance patrol missions, but it has since been retrofitted into a long-range stealth bomber. Records of the ship's comms reveal it was hijacked by a rebel guerrilla on its way to perform a strike against a secret complex called the Zavan Labs, said to hold a weapon so powerful it could win them the war when they were shot down. We've extracted the ship's destination from its navigational drive. We absolutely should go to the Zavan Labs. Think of how much we could sell that weapon for. Do it.
Situation log revised.
Below the ice, the crystal itself makes up the majority of the planet's mass. Samples suggest an artificially dense lattice is used for data storage. Estimates indicate the volume of stored knowledge is magnitudes beyond everything in our collective database. It is likely that the builders of this crystal used a psionic resonance to imprint data. Floats Backwards is so intrigued that they've requested permission to oversee the creation of an automated research station on the surface. So we could study it from orbit, or we could... A large research deposit will be added to TEM 4, but it could be dangerous for Floats Backwards. No, that sounds good. Good luck down there. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So Floats Backwards is dead. Sure, a bittersweet outcome. And attempts to scan the object in high-speed orbit of 9192394 have been unsuccessful. The object quickly falls below 9192394's horizon, and the Cache Probe's instruments are simply unable to keep up. While the gravitational pull is strong, that alone does little to explain the object's extreme momentum. Either the object itself possesses some extraordinary properties, or there's some gravitational phenomenon at work here. The velocity appears to be increasing over time, and Rugged Tissue suspects that it may soon be thrown out of orbit, even without outside interference. So we could attempt to slow it down. Cool. And we did manage to halt it. Cool. So let's just crack it open.
Situation log
What could
revised.
possibly go wrong? And with that, it is time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, I'm just double checking that that's actually what we want here. Yep, pop growth speed. Next episode, we're going to finish up our surveying out over here and get to work in settling all of our new space. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, James, Shadow Wolf, Emilhan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Anna the Elephant, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.